Home Media.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Kmu Pod Live podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chaburgi, and joining me again this week is Janine Radke. How's everybody doing?
Hey, Ricky. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing better. My voice is coming back slowly but surely. Thank goodness.
That's a good thing.
Hopefully, I can have a better show than last week when I'm hacking and coughing, but we'll see how it goes.
Sounds good.
All right. Yep. All right. We're going to do a little something different this week than what we've been doing. We are going to try something different with a lot of the cases that we cover week after week after week. We've decided to do them on on video reels of their own, kind of that we can go through, that we can let them roll that way. And then we'll go through some flyers and we'll do another reel and go through some flyers and do another reel and see how that runs. So just, guys, go ahead and give us your opinion on it, what you think afterwards, and then we'll go from there.
Part 1. Cold Cases, Stories Left Untold, Families Seeking Answers, and Justice Waiting in the Shadows. Together, we uncover the truth.
All right. So we're going to get started here with Kimberly Barnes. As soon as I locate where I misplaced her flyer in my list. I know it's in. There it is.
I was going to say,
missing from Hutchinson, Kansas. I got it. Yeah. Okay. Missing from Hutchinson, Kansas since June 28th, 2024. She's 57 when she's been missing. She's now 58, 5'8", 210 pounds, blonde and gray hair, brown eyes. She is bipolar and schizophrenic and has been without her medication. She also does suffer from substance abuse issues, and she is not stable to be out on her own. She does not have any money with her. Again, when she went missing, she's 57. She's now 58. She's 5'8", 210 pounds, has blonde and gray hair and brown eyes. She does wear eyeglasses occasionally. If you have any information regarding Kimberly's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Hutchinson, Kansas Police Department at 620-694-2800 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And see what we can do to get Kimberly located and back home to her family where she needs to be. I know they're worried sick about her and want her to be found. And again, if you have any information, no matter how small or unimportant you might feel it might be, call it in anyway. No tip is too small. It could be a very big tip for police. So please do call it in.
Yeah, she's been gone for quite a while.
Yeah, she has.
Remember? Yeah.
She definitely has.
Hopefully she can be found fairly quickly here so she can come back home.
Hopefully.
Okay, this is Adam Joseph Herman. He's been gone since July 1st of 1999, so this is an old case. He went missing from Towanda, Kansas. He was 11 at the time of his disappearance, and he would be 37 now. 4'4", 67 pounds at the time he disappeared, with blonde hair and blue eyes. He was last seen in Towanda, Kansas, sometimes during late spring or summer of 1999. His photo that's shown above is an age progressed to 21 years of age. He lived in the Pine Ridge Mobile Home Park with his adoptive parents, Douglas Herman and Valerie Herman, and his two younger siblings. The Hermans stated that Adam had run away during the first week of May after Valerie Herman had disciplined him. They said they were afraid to report him missing because they thought they might get in trouble from the authorities. They continued to collect adoption subsidy payments for Adam until his 18th birthday. Adam's disappearance wasn't revealed to police until 2008, so quite a while after that. And that's when his adoptive sister contacted them after she'd tried to locate him through the Kansas Department of Social and Rehabilitation Services and discovered that the SRS believed he lived with the Hermans until he turned 18. Something that his sister knew that wasn't true. The Hermans were charged with felony theft for accepting subsidy payments and claiming Adam on their tax returns, but they have never been charged with Adam's disappearance. Police searched their current residence and the mobile home where they lived in 1999. No human remains were found, but the authorities said they discovered the answer to one of the questions they had. They've declined to elaborate on what that was that they had found. Investigators have been unable to find any evidence that Adam is still alive, but his case remains unsolved. Adam's birth name was Irvin Sylvester Groninger III. He wears eyeglasses with gold wire frames. He has a birthmark on his back at the waistline, about 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch in size, and has numerous scars on his abdomen and a 3-inch scar on the inside of his left thigh. If you have any information regarding Adam's disappearance or know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita Police Department at 316-265-4220 or the Butler County, Kansas Sheriff's Department at 316-320-1294 or 866-484-5924, or you can contact the KBI at 785-296-4017. If you have any information, please bring it forward. Let's get some answers for Adam's family so we can find out what has happened and so they can get some resolution for this. That's a long time.
Yeah, definitely is. So again, any tip you have, no matter how small, please call that in for us. And this one is Julia Arlene, missing from Delavan, Kansas since December 27th, 1983. She was 74 when she went missing. She would now be 115. She's 5'3", 85 pounds, partially gray hair, brown eyes. She was last seen on December 27th, 1983. A neighbor driving by her home saw her attempting to shovel her pickup out of the driveway, which was covered in 1 to 2 feet of snow. 4 days later, after noticing her truck hadn't moved and no sign of her, the neighbor notified the Morris County Sheriff's Office. On December 31st, 1983, officers performed a well visit to Julia's home. They found no sign of Julia or her purse. Her snow shovel was found in the bed of her truck, and the key was found in the ignition. Police speculated after being unable to dig her truck out of the snow, she left on foot to walk the 3 miles into town to buy dog food, fell into a ditch, and died from exposure. When her cane was discovered leaning against the truck's left fender, it was theorized she may have been given a ride, although leaving without a cane would have been out of character. A house key Julia usually wore pinned to her coat was found on the dirt road right behind the truck. The key was attached to a safety pin, and on the pin's other side was a shred of red cloth. Her shotgun was also found missing. Foul play is suspected in her disappearance. Julia typically wore men's gray work pants, flannel shirts, and sneakers. She typically wore a straw hat, and in the winter months, she wore a scarf around her neck and a big, heavy coat. Julia wears eyeglasses and walks with a cane, which was left behind. If you have any information regarding Julia's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Morris County Sheriff's Office at 620-767-6310 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to help get Julia located. And I would assume after all these years that she's probably not with us, but see if we can at least get her earthly remains found and back to where they can be laid to rest properly.
You know, some of these cases, they all tug at my heart anyway, but the ones that are so long, I can't even imagine being a family member and just
Right.
not having any resolution to things that have happened to their loved ones.
Yeah. This is my younger daughter right here, Aurelia Morel. That's my younger daughter popping in saying hi.
Hi, Aurelia. This one is for Wanda Dyer. She's missing from Lawrence, Kansas. She's been missing since March 21st of this year. She's 74 years old. She's 5'2" tall, 117 pounds, with black and gray hair and brown eyes. Wanda went missing from Lawrence, Kansas on March 21st at around 8 o'clock. In the evening or in the morning, excuse me. Wanda was last seen leaving her home on foot near 5th Street and California Street in Lawrence. She's 74 years old, 5'2" again, tall and weighs 117 pounds. Again, with black and gray hair and brown eyes. She was believed to have been wearing a black jacket and a black fur collar, and possibly carrying a backpack with a floral patterned bag. When she is out, she generally wears a blue surgical mask. If you have any information regarding Wanda's disappearance, or you know of her whereabouts, please call Lawrence, Kansas Police Department dispatch at 785-843-0250 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. Let's find out what happened to Wanda and get her back home.
And real quick, the last update on Lawrence, Kansas Police Department's Facebook was 3 days ago. And that afternoon, about 3 o'clock, they received information that Wanda may have been near 6th and Bluffs Drive. Officer conducted a line search on foot, then a member of their drone team searched by air, and they still have not located her. And they updated the clothing description a little bit to say that they don't believe there was a fur lining on the coat that she was wearing, that it was either a pink lining or a pink hoodie, and she was wearing multicolored pants. So that was their last update, though, 3 days ago. So she's still missing.
Hopefully they can find her soon.
Yeah.
Maybe the update on the clothes will help.
Yeah. Let's hope so. There was some speculation that maybe she'd gotten into a car somewhere, but they don't know for sure on that either. So we'll see. This is Brandon Shane Smith, missing from Greenwood County, Kansas since August 6, 2022. 36 when he was missing. He's now 39, 5'11", 240 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. He did not renew his CDL when it expired on his birthday in October of 2022, which is very unlike him. He's been known to drive over the road and has previously been employed in several positions in the oil field as a heavy equipment operator, a certified hazmat instructor, harvest season worker, a farmer, an equipment mechanic, and he was a forklift operator at Simmons. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 36. He would now be 39, 5'11", 240 pounds. His weight does fluctuate. He has dark brown hair that when it grows longer, it does get curly, and blue eyes. He may have a dark beard, but it is known to have a fade and goatee. He wears a hat and Ariat boots everywhere he goes, and only has half a foot on the left side on his left side due to an oil rig accident in 2012. He has Jackson Dade Smith and a SIDS ribbon tattooed on his upper left arm with ERS in Old English font surrounded by rosary beads, and a cross down his left forearm, as well as a skull and crossbones with a hard hat partially covering Jesse Lier on his right forearm. If you have any information regarding Brandon's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Elk County, Kansas Sheriff's Office, 620-374-2108, or the Greenwood County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-583-5568, or KBI at 785-296-4017. See what we can do to get Brandon located and back to where he needs to be. And it's been quite some time, so let's see what we can do. And John Jensen's daughter Jessica's here. How you doing, Jessica? Thanks for joining us tonight. And welcome everybody else that's popping in and saying hi tonight as well.
And there is Jonathan John Jensen's flyer. So I'm glad his daughter's here tonight. Missing from Kerwin, Kansas since June 14th of 2023. He was 52 at the time of his disappearance and would be 54 now. He is 5'11", weighs 190 pounds with brown hair and hazel eyes. He went missing from Kerwin on or about June 14th of 2023. He left without his vehicle, cell phone, or wallet. At the time of his disappearance, Jonathan was 52 years old. He is now 54. Again, he is 5'11", and weighs 190 pounds. He has brown hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Jonathan's disappearance, or if you know of his whereabouts, please call the Phillips County, Kansas Sheriff's Department at 785-543-6885 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. Let's bring him home to his daughter.
Right. And his daughter's also mentioned too that he has some mental health issues and he does tend to have episodes every now and then. So it's important that we get him found and back to where he needs to be so he can get back on the medications that he needs. And please, everybody, be sure you share the show out too. Get everybody in here that we can get in here tonight.
Definitely. The more people we have watching and the more people that are seeing the flyers and looking at everything, the more opportunity we have to be able to have somebody find these individuals and get some answers and bring them safety.
I'm sure. Definitely. This one's Casey K. Lynn Shannon McMurray. She's missing from here in Salina, Kansas since January 1st of this year. She's 35, 5'2", 136 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. She may wear eyeglasses. If you have any information regarding Casey's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department, 785-826-7210, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see what we can do to get her located and back to where she needs to be.
Yeah, you can see a lot of difference in the pictures.
Yeah.
That
The
she
two,
had. So.
Yeah, the two outer ones were from January of 2024. The one in the middle was from 5 months later in June or July.
That's a lot of 5 months. 5 months.
Yeah.
So hopefully she's safe. We can bring her.
Jessica's asking a question down there. Why do y'all not share where people were found? A lot of times we don't get the information of where they were located. We were just informed they were found, and that's about usually all we get, really. But I don't hardly ever get information on where they were located. It would be nice if they would, but you know. We don't always do that. We don't always get it. So,
yeah. This is the unsolved homicide of Gina Bridget Cyphers. You can see up on the right-hand side that where the location of the crime was at. She was 24 years old with an infant son. By all accounts, Gina Cyphers was a loving mother and a good person. On December 28, 1995, Cyphers dropped off her 15-month-old son at daycare, a program called Morning Out for Moms at a Salina church. When she didn't return a couple of hours later, the daycare called Cyphers' boyfriend at work. He went to the mobile home that they shared and found the young woman brutally murdered. A baby was suddenly without a mom, and police were left with a case that was proven to be a tough one to solve. It was a crowded mobile home park in the heart of the city with trailers that were close together. The violence happened sometime between 9 o'clock a.m. and noon. Still, all these years later, Gina Cyphers' murder remains unsolved. Initial newspaper reports said that she was stabbed, but police are still keeping a lot of the details happened quiet. They say that there have been a lot of leads that have gone nowhere. If you have any information on Gina's death, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Or you can text SA Tips or to Crimes at 274637. or go to the pd.salina.org website and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit your tip. You may receive a cash reward of up to $1,000, and you are not required to give your name, or call the KBI at 800-872-7653. Excuse me, 572-7463. There is a governor's reward on this case of $5,000 that's available for the arrest and conviction of the person responsible for Gina's death. If you see down in the right-hand corner, it does have one of the playing cards that have been distributed in the county jails and the Department of Corrections and prisons that give information on Gina Cypher's case, and hopefully, with the ability to circulate those through those areas, that maybe somebody will talk and find something out. I think a good thing really to remember on, these, especially with the Crime Stoppers tips, is that you don't have to give your name. So somebody that might be afraid to give information would have that ability to give that information without giving their name. That feeling of safety. But this has been since 1995. So we have a child without a mother because of this. Let's see if we can bring her, get some answers for this family.
Yeah, and like I mentioned in the past too, that trailer court that she was murdered in no longer exists. It's a big empty lot now. Just a big empty lot.
Part 3. Out-of-state cases. Beyond Kansas borders, stories of the lost and the unsolved remind us that every missing voice deserves to be heard.
All right. That's the wrong block. We went to the out-of-state. We need to back up a little bit. Okay, hang on. This is where we should be. Right here. Okay, this is Karen Teeter. She is missing from Hayesville, Kansas since March 31st, 2025. 16 years old, 5'1", 103 pounds, blonde or strawberry hair and blue eyes. She went missing about 9:40 that morning. She was last seen leaving a home in the area of Meridian and Grand. And she's 16, 5'1", 103 pounds, blonde or strawberry hair and blue eyes. Her nose is pierced, as you can see on the left-hand photo there on both sides. If you have any information regarding Karen's disappearance, her whereabouts, please call the Hayesville, Kansas Police Department at 316-529-5912 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And soon get Karen located and back to where she needs to be.
Yeah, she's young.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Cale Murray, missing from Sabetha, Kansas. Is that right?
Sabetha. I think it's Sabetha.
Sabetha. Okay. So he's been missing since April 1st of this year, 16 years old. He's 5'11", 155 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. He's a missing endangered runaway from Sabetha. on April 1st, 2025, 16 years old, 5'11" tall, weighs 155 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Kale's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Sabetha, Kansas Police Department at 785-284-2158 or call the KBI at 785-296-4017. Let's bring Kale home.
Definitely.
I know his family has to be worried sick about him.
Yeah. This one was Lorenzo Sanchez, who we've covered before. Wanted to get him out there again because the young man he was believed to be with was located, and I want to see this young man gets located. But he's missing from Kansas City, Kansas since March 16th of this year. He's 16, 5'5", 120 pounds, dark brown, black hair, dark brown eyes. He has health conditions that require medication that he does not have with him. And he's 16, 5'5", 120 pounds, dark brown, black hair, and dark brown eyes. He has a tattoo of the Kansas City Royals logo. And rest in peace, Ron, with dates 9/2/79 to 12/2/2021 on his arm. And a small cross on the back of his left hand. You can see the pictures down there of him at the bottom. If you have any information regarding Lorenzo's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Lorenzo located and back to where he needs to be.
So I have a question for you, Ricky. On the bottom of the flyers, you see a QR code.
Yeah.
So does that lead to a copy of the flyer, or where does that lead?
It leads to the Kansas Missing and Unsolved Facebook pages where that goes to. That's what that way. If somebody has one of these printed and posted out there somewhere, somebody can scan it with their phone. It'll take them to the Facebook page.
Which is great because then all somebody needs to do is scan that. It'll take you to the page. And you can like that page and be able to get more information out.
Right. Or you can even submit information to me if you don't wish to call it into police, and I'll submit it for you if you want to remain anonymous. I've done that plenty of times. So if that's something you're thinking about, that's a possibility.
Well, and you're really quick about getting those flyers out too, which is really helpful to be able to have that pretty quick response to be able to find people too.
Yeah. And now I've kind of improved on that because I've recently brought somebody back into the fold to help me with flyer stuff, and hopefully she's watching tonight, but glad to have her back on board. She was very much missed and very much needed, so I'm glad to have her back on board.
That's great.
Yeah.
So this is Shelby McDaniel. She is missing from Kansas City, Kansas, and she's been missing since March 26th of 2024. At the time she disappeared, she was 16. She's 17 now. She's 5'5" tall, weighs 164 pounds, with blonde white hair and blue eyes. She is a missing and endangered runaway. She has ties to Crestline, Kansas, Columbus, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, so she could be possibly at any one of those areas. At the time of her disappearance, again, she was 16 years old, now 17. She is 5'5" tall, weighs 164 pounds, with blonde white hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Shelby's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or contact the KBI at 785-296-4017. Let's get Shelby home.
Definitely. Okay. This one is Selena Morgan, and she is missing from Leavenworth, Kansas since March 26th of this year. She's 15, 5'5", 140 pounds, red or auburn hair and blue eyes. Apparently last known to be dyed burgundy. Also has a pierced nose If you have any information regarding Selena's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Leavenworth, Kansas Police Department at 913-682-4411 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Selena located and back to where she needs to be.
Yeah, this one, she's one of the newer ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have Bonita, aka Jaden Elaine Wallace. She's missing from Kansas City, Kansas, and has been missing since October 11th of 2022. At the time of her disappearance, she was 15 years old, and she's 17 years old now. She's 5'5" tall, weighs 130 pounds. Her hair is brown, but it was dyed black and red at the time she disappeared, and she has brown eyes. She's considered a missing and endangered runaway. It is believed that she may still be in the Kansas City, Wyandotte County, Kansas area. At the time of her disappearance, again, she was 15 years old. She is now 17, 5'5" tall, and weighs 130 pounds. At the time of her disappearance, her brown hair was dyed black and red. The red had faded and the underside of her hair was shaved, and she also has brown eyes. Bonita has a small tattoo of 2 small black triangles on her upper arm and a birthmark on the back of her right leg. At the bottom of the flyer, you can see a picture of her tattoo. She was last seen wearing a pink and blue hoodie and blue jeans. If you have any information regarding her disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please contact the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And again, you can see the pictures up at the top showing her with glasses with the different colors of hair. And then again, at the bottom, you can see a picture of the tattoo that she has on her right upper arm.
It was her dad that actually provided the tattoo pictures. So I happened to see a post of his one night, and I reached out to him because I'd never had contact with him before. And it took him a little bit, but he finally answered me, and we chatted for a bit, and he got me that picture and clarified, the Jaden, that she also goes by Jaden, and gave me the middle name Elaine as well because I didn't have that before either. So he was a big help to me that night.
That's great. It's amazing the amount of families that you talk to in the process of doing all of this, and the families that reach out to you to help find their loved ones.
Yeah, it seems to be growing as the years go by. So that's a good thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. Every bit of information helps.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Part 2. Endangered Runaways, Young Lives at Risk, Stories that Demand Attention, and a Race Against Time. Together we can make a difference.
Actually, that should have been the out of states, but that's okay. All right. This is Leah Batten. She's missing from Independence, Missouri since September 6, 2024. She was 12 when she went missing. She's now 13, 5 foot tall, 105 pounds, red hair, blue eyes. Time of her disappearance, she was last known to be wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, black Crocs shoes, and was carrying a black duffel bag. If you have any information regarding Leah's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Independence, Missouri Police Department at 816-325-7300 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422 and see what we can do to get Leah located and back to where she needs to be.
How do you end up getting information on the out-of-state ones, Ricky?
A lot of times, like with Liz, I had ran across a flyer that had next to nothing on it, so I had to do a little digging and find some more information and had to go from there. This one here is one that Steph made for us, so yeah, this is a good one too. I'm not sure where she got all of her information for him. I think law enforcement shared it. Some of the out of states are shared on law enforcement Facebook pages and things of that nature.
Yeah, which is really helpful to have that. This is Jordan Thomas. He's missing from St. Louis, Missouri, and has been missing since March 21st, 2025. He's 16 years old, 6 foot 2 inches tall, 230 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen at his home near the intersection of Tesson Ferry Road and Revis Road in South St. Louis County. He was last seen wearing a black puffy coat, black pants, black shoes, and carrying a red backpack. If you have any information regarding Jordan's disappearance, or you may know of where his whereabouts, please contact the St. Louis County Police Department at 636-529-8210. Let's find him and bring him home.
Definitely. Okay, this is Caitlin Darter and her little girl Cora Eastland, missing from Springfield, Missouri since April 1st, yesterday of this year. Caitlin is 26 years old, 5'1", 160 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Cora is 10 months old, red or brown hair, blue eyes. They were last seen together on March 21st, 2025 at Kabul. Caitlin is believed to be in the Springfield area and was reportedly seen on or about March 25th, 2025 in the area of Glenstone and Kearney. And again, Cora is 10 months old with blue eyes, red or brown hair. She was last seen with her mother, Caitlin Darter. She's 5'1", 160 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Cora or Caitlin, or you may know of their whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or make an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers at 417-869-8477 or call the Springfield, Missouri Police Department at 417-864-1810 and see what we can do to get them located to make sure that they are safe and okay.
This is Mariah Lee Cockshell from Gladstone, Missouri. She's been missing since March 21st of this year. She is 26 years old. Is 5 foot 1 inch tall, 150 pounds, with black hair and hazel eyes. Her last known location was in the area of 54th and Prospect around 2:00 a.m. on March 22nd, 2025. She was reported missing, though, on March 24th, 2025. Is that correct on there? It should be 2025, Ricky.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. She's 26 years old, 5 foot 1 inch tall, and weighs 150 pounds with black hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Mariah's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please contact the Gladstone, Missouri Police Department at 816-436-3550 or the tips line at 816-474-8477, or you can contact them in the Missouri Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or at 866-362-6422. Let's find Mariah and bring her home.
Yes, definitely. Okay, and this one is, I believe, the last one tonight, I believe. This is T. Montez hurt, missing from Lee Summit, Missouri since February 1st, 2024. 19 when he was missing. He's now 20. 6'1", 160 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He's originally from Tennessee, and he had a mental breakdown on January 31st, 2024 in Kansas City around 3:45 in the morning. He went to St. Luke Hospital located in the Plaza area for treatment. After his episode, T. Montez's family purchased him a Z-Trip to the Greyhound bus station so he could travel to St. Louis to be with his grandmother. He left his cell phone behind in the Z-Trip, and he has not had any contact with anyone since. He does not know his way around Kansas City as he is from Tennessee. He was last seen walking on Troost at the beginning of the month, which would have been February of 2024. Again, he was 19 when he went missing. He's now 20, 6'1", weighs 160 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Last known to be wearing a royal blue Price Chopper polo shirt, dark green sweatpants, and black high-top Nike shoes. If you have any information regarding T. Montez's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Missouri State Highway Patrol, Troop A at 816-622-0800, or the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department at 816-234-5043 or 816-234-5111, and see what we can do to get T. Montez located and back to his family. It's been over a year now.
It's just a long time with no answers.
Definitely has been, yes. A lot of these cases have been going on for some time, and a lot of them deserve answers. And I'm just hoping by continually doing this week after week and getting the flyers shared week after week and day after day that we can get some of these folks found and back to where they need to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And just keep in mind that, it doesn't matter what kind of a detail you may know. You never know what's going to be the piece of the information that law enforcement needs to be able to find somebody, to find answers for a family, and to get some peace for these families.
Yeah, definitely. And, if anybody out there has a missing loved one or knows somebody that does, or has had a family member taken from them violently that hasn't been solved, reach out to the Kansas Missing and Unsolved page and let us know, and we'll get flyers made and posted and try to help you out the best we can. That's what we're here for. And coming up toward the end of this month will be Kansas Missing and Unsolved's 13th year. So I can't believe it's been almost 13 years, but it has been. But, so if you need our help, let us know. We'll be glad to jump in and help you out. And what was that?
It's amazing. 13 years is a long time to commit to your passion of doing this, and the difference that you make for families, and the difference that, the time that you spend with contacting with families and law enforcement, and just searching sites to figure out, ways to help families
Right.
just makes a difference. And so I appreciate being able to be part of this and be on the show with you.
Yeah, it's great to have you as a co-host on the show, and look forward to working with you again. I was, pleasantly surprised when Derek said, "Hey, I'm bringing Janine back," and I was like, "Cool." I hadn't had her on for a long time, so it's good to have you back on here again, and look forward to many more shows in the future as long as we're needed.
I look forward to it too, and I'm just excited to be back on.
Good deal. Like I've always said, I'm going to continue to do this page until one of two things happen. Either my services is no longer needed, or God decides it's time for me to come home. So I'm going to hopefully be around for a while.
Unfortunately, I don't think the service is not ever going to be in a situation where it's not needed.
Right.
So I think you're going to be around for a long time. Do you want to remind folks of the new time for the show is at 8:00 on Wednesdays. So please make sure you join us and check that web page, that Facebook page daily.
No, definitely. We decided to go back to try 8:00 to make it a little bit earlier, because we know people around 9:00 are trying to get kids rounded up for bed and getting themselves wound down and get ready for bed and get things going for the next day. So we want to try to get on here a little bit earlier to try to reach more people that way too. So, thank Thank you all for tuning in and being with us tonight and going over these cases with us. And as usual, just want to say, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight so we could go over these cases, and just pray that, we can reach the right ears, the right hearts, so we'll do the right things and just make get the information in that's needed to get these people found and these unsolved homicides solved, and give some families some comfort. And, we pray these things in your name. And until we see everybody again next week, everybody stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. Have a good night, and amen.
Amen.
Back Home Media.